Yo, fellas, what is up? We are going to talk about the draw, the appendix draw. Something that's a strong suit of mine. Something that a lot of people have so much trouble with, and it's because they're putting that pussy up on a pedestal, man. They're putting that thing up there, thinking that it's well, there's something that's been told to them through years of institutional inbreeding, as Pat McNamara would say it, and that is that you got to do thousands and thousands of reps before you're able to do anything. So if you want to change your draw and get better at your draw, you're going to have to do 10,000 reps, and then you can do it. That's bullshit. That's not true. What you need to do, and what I'm going to tell you to do in this video, and I promise you right now that if you do what's in this video and you film yourself doing it, film yourself doing it. Film. That's the key to getting better at the draw, and that's the key to doing it quickly, and I'm telling you, it don't take that many reps. Now, once you get to a certain level of your draw, and once you kind of have the index points down, and once you kind of are doing the least amount possible, which is efficiency, doing the least amount possible to get the job done. Once you're doing that, then you can tweak and play and try to get your times down, try to get your presentation a little better, try to get seeing the dot better, try to get your iron sights, I don't know, whatever. You can tweak that. Like every guy that's a badass at drawing a pistol is still working on the draw, always. You just do. You're going to work on it till the day you die. But that doesn't matter. We got to get to a certain level and a pretty good level of proficiency before we even worry about that stuff. So that's where those reps come in. Those reps, they'll give you 1s and 2s percentage points. We're talking about 25 and 30 percentage points right now. Just this one video, you and your dry fire and you and your damn video camera or your phone taking some filmage of yourself and truly being honest with yourself. I'll give you the keys and the index points and everything you need to know to make yourself a badass at drawing from appendix. All you got to do is put the camera on and start dry firing. And the shot timer is a great thing. The shot timer is starting to take off in training where everybody realizes that the shot timer is where it's at, right? Got to have that shot timer. That's the lie detector. That's where these tactical goobers that say, I don't have to worry about that, man. I'm a tactical shooter. I don't have to worry about being good at shooting because I'm a tactical shooter. Well, you don't impress me, okay? You suck, right? I don't care who you are or what you're saying. I don't give a shit. You ain't shit because you ain't putting the time in. And instructors and stuff that won't demo and like you ain't putting the time in. I ain't got time for you at all. So let's talk about this shit. Let's talk about what's going to make you fast, what's going to get you going, and the index points, and doing less. If I sit here and say efficiency, 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 it starts to just go in one ear and out the other. Let's just do less. Let's do less. As little as I can possibly do to get this pistol out of my pants and point it at you is what I need to do. So filming yourself, you got to be honest though. And I learned this from teaching boxing, where guys would be doing something and I'm having a hard time. Some people pick up on stuff right away, and I'll say, hey, do you feel this when you're doing this and this when you're doing that? And they'll pick up on it right away and be able to fix it. And then some people are like, that is what I'm doing. And I'm like, no, it's not what you're doing. Here, check this out. And I got to film them and show them the film of themselves doing it. They won't believe you. You will not believe yourself that you're doing some weird shit in your draw until you see yourself do it on camera and then be like, yes, I am doing that. And I'll say, hey, see this, see what you're doing there? Yeah, stop doing that. Like, this is good. It opens up the whole world to you. And it's what we got to do. We got to film ourselves. When I started filming myself, Scott, I took a class from Scott Jedlinski. He's a freaking draw beast. I started implementing some of the things that he taught me. But then, everyone's different. And I started going a little bit away from some of the stuff he says. We're very parallel in the way that we think and having a fighting background. and using that as our foundation. Like, we're extremely parallel in thinking. But for the draw, I had to figure some things out for myself. He trimmed some fat off my draw, but when I got home, I started filming myself, and I realized, okay, I can take what he said and the index points that he gave me and a couple tips, and now apply it, and then I'm gonna watch other people and watch myself and others like Gabe White, Spencer Keepers, all these guys that are really good at appendix work. So let's talk about the actual draw itself. My draw is, I will belly button, my first index point is moving the garment. So belly button index down to a claw grip. But there's two things you got to do before you even get there. And one is from Gabe White. He says, act like you're touching a hot stove. So when we when we explode into motion, when we go to get that garment, we got to explode into motion, and that's a different manner of moving when you touch something hot, and it's a perfect analogy of what to do. So you touch something hot, and it doesn't matter if you're from a competition, all this stuff kind of goes the same, but this is about appendix, so boom, we move like we just touched a hot stove. I will belly button grab, I'll smash my belly button and grab as much garment and material as I possibly can and snatch this right hand down. The other part of that is that my left hand needs to beat the right. So my left hand needs to snatch down, and both hands are flying towards the gun rapidly, but my left hand needs to beat the right and snatch that up out. Otherwise, I'm going to be wasting time if I move one hand then the other. So I need to throw my hands down. I just need to beat my left hand or my right hand with my left to pull that garment up out of the way. I pull it up to nipple height. Boom, I got the garment. I draw a gun, and what I say is, first of all, I use a claw grip. So that's just something just like this. Some people go straight onto the rear sight. I go right onto the edge of the RMR or right beside the rear sight on a non-RMR gun. When we pull the pistol out, I like to say it as plucking the pistol. So pluck the pistol up out. So I pluck the pistol out, and then when I go to drop garment and marry, what I have to do is, since I don't pull the garment up very high, I don't pull the gun up very high rather, I have to let go of the garment and swoop my hand down under to pick the gun up. So my hand will come up, then down, but what it's really doing is coming up to my nipple and then bending back down. So I don't throw the garment down, and I used to do that until I filmed myself and I realized what I was doing and was able to correct it. What I do now is claw grip. I pluck the gun up out. I bend this hand. When I let go, I just bend my hand and scoop the gun up out. And then I don't have a scooping presentation, but I have a linear presentation from this point straight up onto target. What it looks like quickly here before we talk about Mary is and what the good part about this draw is I can do it quickly with my hands out. I can do it from hands down. I can do it from hands up. Like, this don't impress me. Standing there with your shirt already in your hand and going, that does not impress me. Practicing with your hands completely out, like, hey bro, what's up? I'm about to knock you out. Oh, you have a knife. That impresses me. Do work from all ranges and all manner of hands. When I'm trying to go as fast as I can, I'll have my left hand down and my right hand up, because that'd be real close to my natural fighting stance, where this hand's going to start coming out in the paw, but if I'm just doing a drill, it's going to be like this, and go. So, once I pluck gun, drop garment, and tilt my wrist into that handshake cant, I just scoop up under the gun, and what I'll do is, when I come out, I keep the gun oriented in a gangster orientation, right? So I come out like this, just a fair amount, probably till I'm about 45 degrees, and then roll onto the gun. So when I smack into it, when I drop garment and hit the gun, I'm at kind of a gangster angle, and then I roll my grip. And what that does is allow me to roll leverage onto the grip to where I feel like I'm twisting, like ripping the gun apart once it gets out. And that way I just have full contact, full leverage. Pretty simple stuff. From the Mary, when I roll, I use that, the drop garment, touch gun, and Mary, that's all like one thing. The whole presentation from there. So I really don't have any more index points. Once you develop your top triangle and your repeatable grip, that index point kind of comes on its own. All you have to do is start putting that together with the draw. Now, when you're filming yourself, what to look for to not do. The lighting's going down on me. So, try to get this done quick. I tell people, if you're having trouble, you got to film yourself straight on. Shoulders do not move. Okay? Don't worry about going fast enough to light up the world. Worry about going fairly fast though. So we're moving. We're not going crazy, but we're moving pretty quickly, right? Shit. Just worry about going about that speed. And honestly, when I do demos, I'll be like, okay, I'll just chill and do one at like a 1.3 or something. And I'll go, pow, and it'll be like a 95. It happens almost every time. And I'm like, okay, no, I really will do one at 1.3. And then I have to literally slow down, and where 2 years ago, that was my draw completely. So, when you're filming yourself, what to look for. Look for shoulder movement. So film yourself straight, right here. Film yourself this way to look for hip movement. So we're not humping. A lot of guys will throw their hips out, then draw, then shoot out like this. And holy hell, that's a lot of movement, way too much. So film yourself from this side. Then I tell people in classes a lot to look at me from behind. And you shouldn't be able to really see any movement besides my arm might come out a little bit or something. And then film yourself from this side to make sure there's nothing weird going on there either. And if you see, you can tell I pick my garment up and then twist my wrist and pick the gun up. It's just how I've done it. Scott has a little bit more of a linear from here. It's a little bit lower than mine. And I think he wears his pants, or he has a longer torso. He's 6'3" or something, so his torso's longer, so his draw comes from a little bit of a lower place. Whereas I'm 5'11", but I have short torso. So I'm coming from like right here, it's just like, eh. Gabe White has a little bit different style of it altogether, where he has more of a sweeping, a circle this way instead of a circle this way. His draw kind of comes in from the outsides. So it comes like this in from the outside. It's kind of a strange draw, but it works very well. And he's not doing any more work. He's not doing any less. We just have to find what works for us to do the least amount of work possible to get that draw accomplished. And to put that sight, that front sight, or that dot, pow! I'm looking at that thing. Now my fucking... Sorry, my dot is on it. So, I ain't doing this again. This is hard to try to get through, and I got a couple notes. It's hard to get through in 15 minutes. But, if you're having trouble, yeah, film this way, make sure you're not humping. Film from the back to make sure your arms aren't flaring out. And just figure out if you want to do belly button, if you want to do hemline. But you got to practice from hands up, from hands back, from hands at side, anything. Like, practice putting your hands on a wall and then drawing. Like, all kinds of weird shit. Because what we want to do, and the reason, I'll close with this, the reason we want to be good at drawing the pistol in static conditions is because it's never going to be like that. This is optimal. That's optimal conditions. It ain't ever going to be like that. It's going to be like, whoa, what the hell is going on? You know, whatever the case might be, it's probably not going to be this.